The frontier of mission is shifting. The old maps don't match the reality of where the gospel is advancing today. Cultures are changing, new voices are rising, and the church is being planted in places long considered unreachable. Yet the commission hasn't changed. The Edge of the Map podcast is about pressing into those uncharted spaces, pushing the boundaries, redrawing the frontier lines, and asking what it means to do whatever it takes to carry the good news further. This is the Edge of the Map podcast, a ministry of Go International.
Hello, welcome to the Edge of the Map podcast. I'm Ron Hout.
And I'm Curtis Elliott.
And we are with Go International. Go is a international mission organization that is exploring the places where there is no church. The church does not exist. And a lot of people, when they think about the edge of the map, they think of faraway places, and that is absolutely right. But we also in history, we knew that the edge of the map was as far as people had gone, and they didn't know what was beyond that. And so podcast is going to explore a little bit of both of those, and with an emphasis on where the church does not exist.
Yeah, so our mission here at Go is to do whatever it takes to support and plant the church where it doesn't exist. And so, Ron, just curious, why now? Why this podcast now?
My perception, having been in missions now about 25 years, Curtis, is that this is a pretty unusual time. There are incredible opportunities and incredible challenges. Things have changed, and what I would like us to explore on this podcast is how have things changed, and how are we responding to those changes?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we're going to be featuring on this podcast is real stories from the field, honest conversations about missions, taking a deeper look at what it means to bring the church where it doesn't currently exist, or possibly strengthen a church that may be fledgling in different places.
Absolutely, Curtis. That's our heart, is to see the kingdom expand into those places where it is not, and very excited about what's coming.
So Go International has been doing this for 50, 60 years plus, and lots of mission trips. But one of the things that we want to focus on is not just where we go, but why we go.
Yes.
Maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
I can, and I will. The wonderful history of missions is full of all kinds of ups and downs, and our own ministry started with short-term mission teams. Our founder early on discovered that as a way for people to see what God was doing around the earth, and that's wonderful. But we eventually realized that needed to happen in the context of longer-term relationships. And so the generation that we're now amongst needs to know why we go and how we go and where we go. Again, all these short-term missions need to happen in the context of a long-term relationship and really friendship. And we believe that can be most effective.
Yeah. I sometimes tell people that we mobilize short-term experiences for long-term impact and long-term mindsets. So we want people to come away from trips fully invested in seeing the gospel transform a nation or a village, and not simply just come back home and forget about it.
Yes.
So it's one of the things that we love about this work, is seeing that shift happen in people's minds and hearts.
There's no question. And today is like no day in history, with the ease of travel, the ease of communications. We have more knowledge about the unreached people groups of the world than we've ever had in history. And the means and the technology to act on that. Scripture's being translated into, every language on earth. We have access to countries that we have been closed for centuries. It is genuinely, and I mean, this may be overused, but it's one of the most exciting times, I think, to be alive and working in the world of missions.
Maybe hit on something that our listeners might find interesting, and that is the way we work with leaders across the world. Traditionally, we've talked about indigenous leaders. What can you say about those sort of heroes on the ground that we are engaged with?
Sure. Love to talk about them because they are unsung and generally unknown to most of us. That's one of the privileges of working in missions professionally is you do get to see and hear of what God's doing in the earth, and He's doing some incredible things in so many places. We have inherited from our predecessors these wonderful relationships with pastors and Christian leaders in a number of countries. And that's what we want. That's part of what we want to do on this podcast is introduce you to those leaders, let our folks hear how they're working, what they're doing, how they're planting churches and expanding the kingdom, and really doing it really in ways that are natural and healthy and good, and yet really unknown to most of the world. And so that's an exciting part of what we get to be, what we get to do, and one of the reasons we are excited about this podcast.
Yeah. And if I can just follow up on that, a lot of these leaders are just doing heroic ministry on the front lines, but yet they're isolated, they're under-resourced. And so finding ways to support them, come alongside them with teams and trainings and projects that we do, I think is just another way to catalyze the gospel movement and transformation where they live. I've been thinking about this tagline that we've sort of adopted, which is whatever it takes. And there was a gentleman that we were working with, a brilliant guy, who started brainstorming about it. And he said, if you were planting a church somewhere, you would be asking all sorts of questions like, where do the people gather? What are the kids doing? When do the kids get off school? What are the places that people, that impact people the most, and what are their priorities? And he said, you probably would do whatever it takes to get that church off the ground. And, it just kind of stuck. That's what we do. We're going to do whatever it takes to come alongside, to support, to establish a church where it's not, and strengthen it where it is. So I think this podcast, you're going to be able to hear stories from those places. We're going to dive into strategy and culture and all the things that make up missions around the world. And so I'm excited to be your co-host in this season. And we'll look forward to many more to come.
Yes, absolutely.
Any final words?
Yeah, I think, again, part of the reason we're doing this, we don't want you to just listen to this podcast, and we hope you enjoy it, but you really, if the Lord's moving in your heart and life, we really would love for you to join us. We have the opportunity to go to these places where these unsung heroes are sharing the gospel. Many, many hard places, faraway places that the Western church, by and large, doesn't go to. And so we want you to join us. We're going to ask you to pray for these folks, these partners. We're going to ask you to share these stories with your church. And again, if God calls you, we want you to go with us. Also, we would ask you to subscribe to our newsletters and follow us on social media and visit our website, gointernational.org.
And Ron, we've got a great new website, by the way.
Oh, yes. That's right. We do.
We want you to get lost on it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we're excited about what God's doing, and we are ready to do whatever it takes to plant the church where it's not, to come alongside those who are on the ground and to see God glorified and His kingdom expanded. And so we hope you'll join us again as we head out onto this adventure. Thank you so much. I'm Ron Hout.
I'm Curtis Elliott.
This is The Edge of the Map.
Thanks for listening to this pilot episode of the Edge of the Map podcast. This is just a glimpse of what God is doing through the ministry of Go International. The commission Jesus gave us is still unfinished, and the frontier keeps moving. So we want to invite you to be a part of this story. You can join a trip and experience the Edge firsthand. You can help send others through your support, or you can fuel and fund the mission by supporting our programs, projects, and the people who carry the gospel further. Visit gointernational.org to learn more, and stay tuned to the launch of the Edge of the Map podcast early 2026. Together, we can do whatever it takes to see the church planted where it isn't yet.